What is going on, everybody? It is Dylan with DFS, bringing you a brand new video. Today's video is Week 9 cash plays to play on the main slate. So, these are guys I recommend, not a must, but guys you should definitely consider when making your cash lineups, your head-to-heads, any of that. If you guys are interested in my full plays, which is cash, tournaments, values, my bets and props, all of that is available for subscribers on our website. So if you guys are interested, check that out. So Jalen Hurts at 7,800. I think if you can afford to pay up on this slate, which you can go a lot of different ways to get cheap in a lot of different positions. So if you wanted to use quarterback as one of those positions to pay up, Jalen Hurts against Jacksonville is definitely one to go for. If you want to go down and go to a medium price, I think either, if you look at the injuries of Dallas, which this video going up kind of midday Friday, I don't have all the practice news as of right now, but Trayvon Diggs was out, Bland was out, Parsons. All three of those guys have not practiced up until Friday. Still don't know that. So Kirk Cousins is, I think, as playable as Dak. So if you wanted to go Kirk, you wanted to go Dak, I think either one of those at that price point, $100 difference is fine. Going down a little cheaper, Geno Smith, I think, is worth considering against the Rams. He's just been very consistent, but DK Metcalf is yet to practice, which is kind of concerning there. If DK's in, I think it's good. If he's out, it's a little worrisome. But at his price point, he definitely has paid off so far this season. And then going cheaper, and I mean cheaper, right? I said in my first look video, I don't understand how we get these guys this cheap. But we're gonna go down. Gardner Minshew at 4,500 is playable against a Cincy team to where their defense has given up quite a bit of fantasy points to quarterbacks lately. You look at Gardner Minshew, kind of where his games have been all over. 2 points against the Rams, unfortunately. 9 against Denver. 5 against Cleveland. But you look at some of the other games against a team like Baltimore, a team like the Chargers. He's putting up 12, 13 points there. At 4,500, you don't need, a 13-point performance is fine. It really is. He gets 14, 15, even better. But it allows you to pay up at other positions. But yeah, Gardner Minshew has not been having a good time on this Vegas team that is kind of all over the place. But I definitely think he is worth playing in cash at 4,500. We never get quarterbacks this cheap, like Gardner Minshew, Bryce Young at 45 and 4,400. We never get starting quarterbacks that are known going to be starter the week before, no injuries. We never get this pricing. So I'm assuming they had somebody at DraftKings screwed up, and these guys are supposed to be 5,500 and 5,400. I would have to guess. Yeah, Gardner Minshew 4,500 for cash quarterback. Now at running back, like at the top, I think you can go Saquon, you can go Kyron, you can go Kamara, any mix of that. Obviously, Derek Carr being back would be a plus for Kamara. Taysom Hill, is healthy again too. So that guy is known for ruining slates if you're picking some Saints players. And then 7,400 Bijan against Dallas, to where pretty much anybody can run on Dallas. It's just how it is. If Parsons is out, Bijan in a really good spot there. This situation, like I mentioned, I don't know the practice statuses of Tennessee players, but I will say neither Pollard or Spears has practice leading up to Friday. If both guys are out, it moves to Julius Chestnut at 4,000 against the Patriots. He's an automatic play, right? If Joey Chestnut ends up being the healthy running back for the Titans, you don't have to pay down a quarterback because you get a 4K starting running back in a good matchup. So that is one to watch. I can't imagine both Pollard and Spears being out, but it is something to definitely monitor going up until the slate. Devon Achane at 6,700, yet again playable. We've seen running backs have great success against Buffalo. Now, Miami did play Buffalo earlier in the year, in HN got 29.5. So do with that as you will. I think with Tua being there, Devon HN is in a very, very good spot versus Tua not being there. So Devon HN in a really good cash spot. Next, DeAndre Swift, 6,400 against Arizona. Really good matchup for him there against a very, very bad Arizona defense. Chase Brown at 5,900 against Vegas. A lot of running backs can run against Vegas. Chase Brown is definitely one of those guys to watch as well. If you're looking for kind of a little bit cheaper than Chase Brown, Alexander Mattison might be the starting back again with no Zamir White. Kind of seen Mattison have okay games. If you're paying $5,700, like it's the more expensive than we've seen Mattison this season. But getting all the, I won't say all, getting a majority of the running back work at $5,700 is fine with me on the slate, right? There's a lot of injury news. I mentioned the cheap plays will go to wide receiver, which wide receiver has some more payups, but tight end has paydowns as well. Yeah, but other than that, there's not a whole lot running backs that I'm looking at. I think the cheapest starter we're kind of looking at would be Alexander Mattison at 5,700. Tyrone Tracy may or may not play. Might be worth considering, but I don't know if I'd go there in cash. Wide receiver now, obviously CeeDee Lamb against Atlanta. Really cheap for CeeDee Lamb, in my opinion, in this matchup, right? Been 8,800 all season. Just had an explosive game. One of the, I think, the best wide receiver game of the season so far. I could be wrong, but I think he's up there. But really good matchup against Atlanta. Still 8,800. Usually by this time, CeeDee Lamb's probably over 9K, close to 10K, but we're getting him at 8,800, so I'll take it. T. Higgins, doubtful. We did get that information, so Jamar Chase, I think, is playable at 8,600. A.J. Brown, if you want to get in a very expensive stack against Jacksonville, A.J. Brown, there. Malik Neighbors, 7,500 against Washington, to where, you know, last couple weeks since Malik Neighbors has been back, 21 targets in those games. Hasn't really had an explosive game, but we look week 2 against Washington, 18 targets, 10 receptions, 127 yards, and a touchdown. And Malik Neighbors still in a very good spot against Washington, so definitely in my player pool again. Puka Nacua, I'll mention at 7,200 against Seattle. I think is worth, like, if you want a wide receiver one that, you know, is technically like a 1B, I guess, 7,200 for Puka is ridiculous against Seattle. So I think Puka is very playable. And then we go down to a different tier to where we get someone like, you could play Devontae Smith, 6,800. Drake London, though, at 6,700 against Dallas, I think is a really good price in that matchup. We continue to go down to Chris Olave at 6,100. Last week, with still, it wasn't Derek Carr, but 14 targets, 107 yards for Olave. Only one touchdown on the season so far, so maybe we get some touchdown love to Olave there. It's worth watching. Continue to go down. Ladd McConkey at 5,600 against Cleveland is definitely worth targeting there. I will mention Calvin Ridley. I think he's more of a tournament than cash, but last 2 weeks, 24 targets for Ridley. So, yeah, with no Hopkins and Mason Rudolph being the quarterback, Calvin Ridley is definitely worth mentioning. If you wanted to go Minshew, I think you could double, like, you could triple stack Vegas and go Jacoby Myers. Brock Bowers, I think, is still cheap enough. So if you wanted someone to stack with Minshew, Jacoby Myers would be that. Going down on the list, I don't, are we getting Adam Thielen? Doubtful, no. So no Adam Thielen it makes me go down to 3,600 Jalen Coker. Bryce Young's going to be the quarterback. As of right now, Marshawn Lattimore has been out. We'll kind of see what that status is. If Marshawn Lattimore is out, Saints down 2 starting corners going into this game. One obviously out for the season, but Marshawn Lattimore would be a big hit. Jalen Coker, to me, like I've been on him since before the season. He's gotten some opportunities so far, and we've seen 2 10-plus point performances. I definitely think he's going to be included. Obviously, when Adam Thielen gets back, it's going to be a little more rough for him. But I think for his price point, he's in a really good spot this week. Going to tight ends, Brock Bowers at 6K. If you go cheap at Minshew, and you want the number 1 guy, Brock Bowers is there against Cincy. Cincy is notorious for giving up fantasy points against tight ends. And you look at Brock Bowers, just for tight end, this is really good. Like for a tight end, his numbers are ridiculous. Obviously, I think he leads the league in receptions, not just for tight ends, but just pass catchers in general. Only 1 touchdown on the year so far, so definitely looking at Brock Bowers in this slate. Evan Ingram, I'll mention. I don't know if I consider it a cash play, but definitely in tournaments, especially if Brian Thomas is out. Evan Ingram, yeah, he should see a lot of targets against that Philly team. Kyle Pitts playable at 4,900 against Dallas. I go cheap though this week is kind of what I'm looking at. And there's 2 guys, Cal Katera, 3,400 if Dallas Goedert is out, which I believe he will be. 3,400. You could triple stack and go Hurts, AJ Brown, and then go him, and you get a pay down. But also, I'm looking at Mike Gesicki this week with T. Higgins out. Last week when T. Higgins was out, 8 targets against Philly, to where Philly played defenses or tight ends pretty good. Still gets 13 points at 3,100 against Vegas in another good spot. So I will say Mike Gesicki 3,100 is playable. So that's it for tight ends. Defenses, realistically, on this slate where I want to get a couple good wide receivers, like really good wide receivers, the Giants defense at 2,300 allows you almost $400 more in your lineup. So hope you guys did enjoy the video. Like I said, if you guys are interested in my just went over the cash plays, but if you guys are looking for tournaments or looking for some value plays that are going to be lower owned, that will be available on the website, as well as my bets and props. And we do have FanDuel. FanDuel is on the website as well. So if you guys want the FanDuel version of the main slate, go over to the website and check that out. And I will see you guys in the next one.